Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to today's video. Today we're doing an unhaul. I'm so ready for this. I am so ready for this. So today is March 2nd, aka we have started spring. It's literally 60 degrees outside right now. It is so nice out. I am just feeling all of the spring cleaning. The feelings are coming up. Like I need to clean out my closet. I need to clean out my bookshelves. I need to clean out the basement. I need to clean, okay? And I have been meaning to do an unhaul and a bookshelf reorganization for some time now. I feel like I've recently had just this urge to get rid of every book on my shelf that is like not a high 4 or a 5 star. Why do I have books on my shelf that I gave 3 stars? Why? All the time I look at my shelves and I'm just like, this just doesn't feel like an accurate representation of how I want my bookshelves to look like. We need a redo, okay? We need just a reorg. And that all starts off with an unhaul. I need to get rid of the books that are not serving me joy at this current moment. So that is what we're gonna be doing in today's video. And then piggybacking off of that, I think either the week after this is posted or sometime after this is posted, I'm going to be doing a bookshelf reorganization video. My plan is entire TBR, we're gonna put it on a different shelf and like make these shelves look more to what I want, you know, more to my liking. You can check that video out down below once it's posted. But other than that, today we're just gonna get rid of the books that are not serving me joy, okay? We're gonna be going through shelf by shelf and I'm gonna be taking the bookshelf shelves that I'm just like, I'm not feeling, all right? Now there are a lot of books on here that I do have a lot of sentimental value, so I'm gonna be skipping over some parts of my bookshelves. But for the most part, let's just get into it. Let's get these books off my shelves. I need a renewal, okay? I need a refresh. And if you are interested in any of the books that I'm unhauling, I'm going to leave a link to my Pango books down below. Feel free to check that out if you are interested. Okay, let's do it. Okay, first shelf, this classic shelf. A lot of these books I haven't read, but to be honest with you, many of these books hold very much a sentimental value and I can't get rid of them. Got a lot of these books from a deceased relative, so definitely keeping a lot of them. The only one I'm 100% sure I'm gonna get rid of is this one, 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I'm never gonna read this, okay? I don't know why I wanted to read this at one time in my life, but I don't want to read it anymore, okay? I don't even know what this is about. I don't know if I need to know what it's about. I just don't want to read it. All right, we're getting rid of it. Okay, next shelf here. I feel like maybe we can do some damage here. All right, first one, gonna get rid of Trust by Hernan Diaz. Tried to read this book, DNF'd it. I was honestly bored. It was about the stock market and I just like literally did not even care. I think I made it 100 pages and I was like, I can't go on. I was bored. And I know that this book got really good reviews, but I just don't think this book is for me. So gonna be getting rid of this one. Let's see. This is debatable. I've soft DNF'd this, but I did really like, you know what? I'm gonna keep it for now because I think I'm going to give this book another try. A lot of these, to be honest with you, haven't read yet. And I know I have 2 copies of Normal People over here and they are literally the same exact copy, but I've annotated one and then Hannah from Hannah's Recent Reads annotated one, so we're not getting rid of those. Okay, just kidding. Can't do some damage here. I actually liked every single one of these books and I do want to keep these books, or the ones that I have read. A lot of these are on the TBR and we're gonna be getting moving these in that reorganization video. Okay, next shelf here. Oh, I have some of these that I'm like, I have not read any one of these books over here. I want to give them a chance. I'm not willing to get rid of them yet, but I have a feeling once I read them, one of these 4 is gonna go. I think I'm gonna get rid of Mrs. Everything by Jennifer Weiner. I read this book for a book club like in 2019. I tabbed it all, but I didn't like highlight anything. So honestly, I can just take these tabs out. This was one of the first books I like annotated where I like tabbed it, but I didn't actually write in the book. I was too scared. I enjoyed this book. I think I gave it like a 3.5 or a 4 star. To be honest, I'm never gonna reread this book. It was a good like family saga, like a family generational saga back in the time when I was like reading a lot of those. I did like it. I just don't think I'm gonna ever reread it again. And again, why am I keeping books that I didn't give it 5 stars? So I'm gonna take the tabs out of this and then sell it. Okay, I honestly feel like I haven't read this one yet, but I feel like I'm gonna unhaul it when I read it. I do wanna keep the rest of my Taylor Jenkins Reid stuff. I love Tomorrow. This one, Flowers for Algernon. Getting rid of this. I read this, I don't know, 2019 or so. It was really effing sad and I don't think I'm gonna ever reread it. This book makes me want to cry even just thinking about it in a bad way. It was like an icky sad cry, if you know what I mean. I think I gave this like 3 stars. Yeah, Never gonna reread it. We gotta go. Okay, next up, I'm getting rid of this. I found this in a little free library and I was going to give it a try. And like, as I've continued to have it potentially come up on TBRs, no part of my body and soul ever wants to read this book. I was a Colleen Hoover girl for literally 20 seconds. Like, I read Verity and I really liked Verity when I read it. And then I read It Ends With Us. At the time, I loved It Ends With Us. As time has gone on, I hate It Ends With Us. And I don't care to read another Colleen Hoover book. Unless she puts out something similar to Verity, I don't want to read a romance by Colleen Hoover. Like, I'm not that girl. And if you are that girl, more power to you, but it's not me. So never gonna read this. We're getting rid of it. Ooh, part of me is feeling contemplative on Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I don't know. I just don't know if I'll ever reread it. I really liked this book and I really liked the TV show, but to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm gonna ever reread it again. So like, why am I keeping it? I really liked Celeste Ng though. I feel like this is a book that I could loan out to someone, but I wouldn't be mad if I never got it back. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm gonna get rid of it. It's just not speaking to my soul. Like, I don't care that much about this book. Yep, we're gonna get rid of it. All right, honestly, I think this shelf is good. Again, a lot of these are still on TBR and I need to reorg the TBR. That is the biggest priority. Next shelf here, let's see. Getting rid of this one. Okay, this is Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. Read it for a book club back in 2019, pre-pandemic. Really enjoyed it. Never gonna reread it. I thought it was really great. I think this book could go to a home to someone who like needs this book. Like, when I read this book, I needed this book, but I don't need this book right now. I found a great therapist and it was all thanks to this book pushing me. So I do owe this book like a good thank you, but I think this needs to go to a new home to someone who may need it just as much as I needed it at the time. Like, thank you so much for serving me the way you did. But now it's time for you to find a new home and to find someone else who can cry over you in a good way, and then find a new therapist. Okay, honestly, feeling good about the rest of these books and that I do want to keep a lot of these nonfiction books. All right, next up here, kind of this like mystery thriller shelf. Read a lot of these. I do want to keep them. Again, some of these are on TBR. Oh, okay, here's one. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. Read it, enjoyed it, think I gave it a 3.5. It's a mystery thriller. I don't need to reread a mystery thriller. I already know what happens. This was a really great one, like genuinely, and I feel like this was great for me at the time that I did read it. But like, why do I need a copy of it? I don't. I think someone else could thoroughly enjoy this, and I just don't need it. Okay, here's another one I want to get rid of is The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. I read this for like a buddy read for a readathon, I think in like 2021 or 2022. Honestly, I don't remember. It was fine. I think I honestly DNF'd it. Like, I think I made it halfway through and I was like, I just don't really care that much. I think if at another point in my life I would have enjoyed it, but like, I have no desire to reread this or go back to it. Like, it was a YA mystery set at a summer camp, which is kind of a fun setting. Like, I think I would have loved this book if I was 18 years old or 16 years old, but like, not when I'm 30. I don't know. It was just like not my vibe. Gonna get rid of it. And if you do see Verity here, I'm on the fence. I don't know why I would ever reread it. The only thing is like, I don't know. I did like it. Like, that's the thing. Like, I did enjoy it. I'm just trying to think, like, if I ever wanted to read this book again, number one, why would I ever want to reread it again? I already know what happens. And I just feel like it could go to a better home. You know what? I'm going to get rid of it. I don't have any reason to keep it. Like, I read it and I enjoyed it, but like, I don't need a copy of the book. That's the theme of this. And I think I gave this a 4.5 stars. So it's like, it does justify me keeping it in the sense of like, I want to keep books on my shelves that are only like high 4 or high 5 stars, but I don't need to ever reread this book again. We're gonna get rid of it. Colleen Hoover, it's just, we're past the time. Like, I'm not that girl. It's time to let this book go. Okay, we're gonna get rid of it. This shelf, we can do some damage, all right? This shelf is I don't want to say the shelf of shame. This is like the book of the month shelf that I literally don't care about, to be honest. We're gonna get rid of some of this stuff. So what do we have over here? Yep, these three. First up, this is This Tender Land by William Kent Kruger. Shout out to a Minnesota author. I'm sorry, I'm getting rid of your book. But I read this book while I was camping in the Boundary Waters, which is a really great experience. I'm never going to reread this book again. I think I gave it like a 3 or 4 star. It was great for the time that I read it. Don't need an actual copy of it. I think it could go to a new home. So I'll get the dust jackets for these and then put them on Pango. Next one, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. one. Again, read it, enjoyed it at the time I read it. I think I gave it a 4-star. This was like actually a really sad book about this girl who's depressed. But honestly, I read it at like a time in my life where I kind of needed this book and I appreciate it. So thank you for helping me through some tough times. But I don't think I'm ever going to reread it. And last one here, Transcendent Kingdom by Yajiasi. Read it, very much enjoyed it. I think I gave it a high 4-star, but I don't think I'm going to reread it. I don't think I have the desire to reread this book. Really, really enjoyed this book though, but I just feel like I forgot I even had it on my shelves. And so I don't really feel the need to keep it. Here we go again. Ask Again Yes by Mary Beth Keane. Read it, gave it like a 4-star or something. It was fine. It was a family generational saga, but have really no need to keep this book. I'm not going to reread it. I think it could go to a new home. Yep. Feeling these 3 next. Okay, so first one we have is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. Read it, gave it a 4-star. It's a World War II setting, which I don't think I ever want to read a World War II setting again in my life. I'm not going to reread it. It was a good book and it like won the Pulitzer Prize. Like this is a very well esteemed and well acclaimed book, but like I just have no need for it to be on my bookshelves. Like I'm not a historical fiction girly. This book has served its purpose in my life. I read it, I enjoyed it at the time, and now I'm not going to reread it. Next one we have The Most Fun We've Ever Had by Clara Lombardo. Again, I think I read it, gave it about a 4-star. This was a family generational saga that I really enjoyed when I read it, but I have no need to ever reread it. I feel like there are other family generational sagas that I have enjoyed even more than this book. This was fine. Don't need it anymore. And next we have The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Read this. I think I gave this a 5-star. I actually really, really, really enjoyed it, but I just don't think I'm ever going to reread it. I really loved the story and I thought it was beautiful. And like, it was about these 2 sisters who could pass like on the borderline of Black and white, and you follow each of them as they both kind of enter different parts of society. I really liked this book. Like this was like, I think a 4.5 or 5-star book. I'm not going to reread it again, but I did really like it at the time. It was a really great read, but just don't really have a need for it. I think this could go to a better home and I think someone else can enjoy it more than I will just having it just sit on my shelf. A lot of the rest of this stuff on this shelf is TBR. So I need to do some damage on this stuff. Like if I read these and don't like them, I need to get rid of them. The only one I'm not going to get rid of this is Daisy Jones and the Six. And I loaned this book out to my mom and then her dog destroyed it. And I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. But I can't get rid of it because I annotated it and I need to get a new copy. You know what? Once I get a new copy, I'm going to copy the annotations into that book and then I'm going to get rid of this book because this is a crime. This is really sad. This is like one of my favorite books of all time. And like the fact that it's destroyed, it's just really unfortunate. Everything up top, nothing there is anything that I'm gonna get rid of. It's a lot of fantasy series and I'm not getting rid of any of those. But there are 2 books that I did find on other bookshelves in my house that I've been meaning to get rid of for a long time. First one is Silver Nitrate. DNF'd this at like 23% or something. I honestly could not care less about this book. I don't know. It was a book about like some kind of movie and then there was like some seance and like magic or something. I don't know. I made it 100 pages and I just didn't even care at all. I'm getting rid of this one. And then the other one is Yerba Buena by Nina LaCour. I have had this book on my TBR for so long and I just have no desire to read it. Like every time I contemplate reading it, I just don't feel the need to, or like I just don't really want to. So I'm kind of just like, why do I still have it if I'm not going to read it? So I think I need to get rid of this one as well. Okay, next up we have this kind of fantasy shelf here. Maybe controversial opinion. I am very much debating getting rid of Serpent and the Wings of Night. I literally just got this book and I just read it and I gave it a 3.5 star. Honestly, as time goes on, I think I'm gonna give it an actual 3-star. It was fine. It was all right, but I didn't feel like I had enough world building to be super engaged. I thought the writing was okay, but like a lot of the stuff in the writing really annoyed me. And as I've gotten about a week away out of it, I like don't really care to continue on in the series. I didn't feel like there was enough world building. I didn't really care that much about the romance. The competition element was really cool, but like I just didn't care that much about the book in general. So I think I'm gonna get rid of it. It's really sad because this is a cool cover and I wanted to love this book so much because so many people love it. But like, why am I keeping a book on my shelves that I don't care about? Doesn't make sense. I'm never gonna reread it. I don't know. I'm gonna get rid of it. Next up, let's see. Ooh, I'm getting rid of these 2. 5th Season and The Obelisk Gate. I've read both of these before. I actually really liked the 5th season, but I did not like The Obelisk-Gate. And after reading The Obelisk-Gate, it was very slow for me. I also read these books 3 or 4 years ago, and I didn't feel the need to continue on to the 3rd one. And I kind of just don't know why they're on my shelves if I'm not going to continue with the series, and I DNF'd the series. And I know like people really, really love these books, so maybe these will go to a better home, to someone who will actually enjoy them, and it will serve a better purpose on their shelves. Like, I kind of kept them just to keep them because I have read these, but I'm not going to continue on with the series, and I don't want to keep books that are not part of series that I really love, you know? All right, last one here. I'm getting rid of this one. Gallant by V.E. Schwab. Read this, gave it a 3-star, thought it was fine. This is a beautiful edition, and it's signed, which is really cool. It's a very stunning edition with like illustration and stuff like that. Like, that's gorgeous, but I'm never gonna reread this. I gave it a 3-star. I thought it was fine. I just don't really have a need to have this in my collection. You know what? I forgot one up here. I'm getting rid of this. I'm not gonna read this. This has come up on no less than like 6 TBRs and like TBR Tinders, and every single time I've just sidelined it. I think I got this book at a time when I really wanted to love middle grade, and then that time has now passed. Not even middle grade, but specifically polar fantasy middle grade, but I just am not that girl anymore. And I'm gonna get rid of this one. It honestly feels freeing. Like, this book has had a chokehold on me for so long, and I felt so guilty every time I have not read it when it's come up on a TBR, so we just got to get rid of it. You know what? Do I get rid of Midnight Sun? Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this one. This is unfortunate because I bought this new and I was so excited to read this, and then the reviews were terrible, and I tried to read it, and I think I read maybe 50 pages, and I was like, this is awful. I don't care about this. This doesn't fit the original series in my mind, which I don't have the first book, shockingly. I don't know where that went, but these were like my original books from that series, so I don't feel bad getting rid of it. I'm never going to read it. I don't care about it even in the slightest. We need to say goodbye. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of these two. First one is A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. Read it. I think I gave it a 3-star, but I didn't really feel like a huge pull or connection to this book like I have with other middle grades on this shelf, like Amari or Morgan Crow. Those 2 series I am obsessed with. I love those. But A Pinch of Magic was fine. It was really cute, but at the same time, like, again, I just didn't have the same level of joy and like pure kid joy you feel when you should be reading a middle grade. It was okay. It felt like a little bit of a fairy tale, and I think I've just been keeping this book so long because the cover is stunning. I think I just need to part with it. Like, it's so beautiful, because I got this off of Book Depository when they had like, they would ship like UK editions to the US, and I was obsessed with this edition, but I just don't really care about the book. So I need to get rid of it. And the next one, again, we're getting rid of this polar fantasy phase that I just seemingly went through and never actually read a book from. Polar Bear Explorers Club. I know a lot of people have like commented and like said that I should give it a try and whatnot, but like I just don't really feel like I have a want or desire to. This feels like me thinking about picking this book up. Like, I feel like I would go into a reading slump even just thinking about it. And I would rather read Keeper of the Lost Cities or another middle grade fantasy over reading the Polar Bear Explorers Club. All right, and then another 2 that I'm going to be getting rid of is the Frostheart series. Again, going with that polar fantasy phase that I was in. I did read Frostheart, and I think I gave it like a 3-star or something. I thought it was okay, but I didn't love it. And I really wanted to love it because I know like Gavin from Gavin Reads It All, he loves this series. Like, he named his cats after the characters in these books, and that makes my soul leap with joy. And I wanted to like them so much, but I just didn't feel, again, that pull that I feel with like Amari, you know? It doesn't feel the same. Like, I have the second book and I've been meaning to go on to the second book, but nothing has ever made me feel a pull to reading the second book because I just didn't absolutely fall head over heels for the first book. So I think I need to take a lesson in the sense that I need to wait before buying multiple books in a series before I read the first book in the series. And that is a lesson I need to learn the hard way. Any other books? You know what? I think this one as well, Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I read this, I gave it like a 3 or 4 star. I know this is kind of like a classic fantasy book, like a classic fantasy starter book. I thought this was good and I enjoyed it. I don't know why it's on my shelves. It doesn't necessarily bring me joy. I thought it was okay. This could be a book where you almost have a kind of like attachment to, like I could see people having an attachment to it like The Lord of the Rings or something like that, where it's like this like classic fantasy or like middle grade young adult fantasy that people just have an attachment to, but I didn't feel that. I mean, maybe I read this when I was too old or something like that, but I just don't really feel that, and I don't really feel the need to have it. Of that polar fantasy phase, the only one I'm keeping and maybe gonna give a try is this one, because I feel like a lot of people had a lot of great things to say about The Bear and the Nightingale. Well, I think that's that. I need to also, few books that I need to we need to move to a different location. Oh my gosh, it already feels so much better making room on my shelves. Like I literally can't wait to reorganize this. All right, and last book I also found in another place in my home, this Mountains Beyond Mountains by Tracy Kidder. I just like don't want to read it. It's like this nonfiction about this doctor who goes and like practices medicine in like this rural area in, honestly don't know, South America or something, and it seems a little like savior-ish to me, and like, I don't know. I'm sure maybe it's not, and I feel like maybe if I read it, maybe I would have a different opinion, but I don't really want to read it. And all right, guys, so there we have it. Let's count how many books this is. It's 30 books. You know why that number is significant? Because I'm about to turn 30 this year. Wow, unhauling 30 books in year 30. Well, I feel honestly pretty accomplished. I thought it was going to be more books, to be honest with you. I thought I was going to get rid of more, but I think I have so many books that are still on my TBR that I don't want to get rid of because I haven't given them a fair chance yet. So make sure to watch out for that book reorganization video, because I'm going to be taking all of the books on my actual TBR and putting them on a shelf of themselves, and then making my bookshelves like really, bring me joy and like manifest what I want to manifest in my bookish life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you're interested in any of these books I'm getting rid of, please check out my Pango books down below. And until then, that hurt my hamstring. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you guys in my next video. Peace and love. Bye.